Trucking companies run at razor-thin margins, especially during times when freight rates are declining and costs are rising. And yet we find many trucking company owners who have a misconception about one big cost items in their business, and that's the cost of their tools and processes. Welcome to our video series here at BeyondTrucks. My name is Hans Galland, I'm the CEO of the company. At BeyondTrucks, we help trucking companies understand the true cost of their tools and processes and eliminate them using automation and smart data. Today I'm going to speak about three things. Firstly, I'll talk more about this generally held misconception of the true cost of tools and processes. Secondly, I'll share with you why it really matters. And thirdly, I'll tell you a little bit about what you can do about it. So let's get started. A common misconception we see amongst many trucking company owners is that the cost of the tools they use to run their business is the price they pay for such tools. However, this ignores the many indirect costs that these tools generate by imposing certain processes and workflows on the team's daily operations. Let me use a Flintstone example to illustrate my point. Dino can carry a sample of stones to Fred Flintstone's stone plant in just about 3 days. For Fred, this seems like a great choice because Dino's delivery services are essentially free. However, it takes Dino 3 days during which Fred's plant essentially loses out on 3 days of production or 3,000 sand dollars in revenue. Alternatively, Fred could use the Flintmobile to deliver the stone samples. This takes him $1,000 to pay for the Flintmobile plus 1 day in production delay of another 1,000 sand dollars. So the total cost of using the Flintmobile is 2,000 sand dollars. All in, it now becomes clear that even though the Flintmobile is at first blush more expensive, the Flintmobile is also the better choice, reducing total cost from 3,000 sand dollars to 2,000 sand dollars. What's the moral of the story? When you assess the cost of your tools, do not just simply assess its price, but also assess the indirect cost it creates in your operations. For instance, Google Sheets may seem free, but truthfully are not free. There is a true cost to using Google Sheets in your operation. The same is true for a TMS that you've been using for 10, 20, 30, or maybe 40 years. There is a true cost that goes beyond the initial cost you paid for the system to using that particular technology. And when you make decisions about the future, consider both the direct as well as the indirect cost of your tools and processes. Our research shows that American trucking companies spend on average $9,700 per driver per year as a result of poor tools and poor processes. This is actually quite serious for two reasons. Firstly, process cost at $9,700 per driver per year is usually as high as that company's operating margin per driver per year. In other words, eliminating process cost is as good as doubling net margins or doubling your fleet size. Secondly, process costs are recurring. Like a wound that doesn't stop bleeding, process costs can leave your organization weak and anemic. And in a market like today's, where freight rates are down 15%, driver pay up 11%, and fuel prices up 44%, fixing your process cost can actually mean survival. And the good thing is that unlike fuel, driver pay, or market conditions, processes and tools are entirely within your control. We suggest trucking company owners use a three-step approach to eliminate process cost. Firstly, conduct an in-depth process cost assessment in your operations. Secondly, benchmark those costs against industry peers. And thirdly, develop strategies to address process costs through process re-engineering and automation. In sum, today I've shared with you a common misconception many trucking company owners have about the cost of their tools and processes. We've also shared with you why these costs actually matter and are material, in particular in today's market environment. And thirdly, we shared with you a few strategies how you can address process costs in your daily operations. If you're curious to learn more, contact us at info@beyondtrucks.com or watch the follow-on episodes in our little video series. Thanks for joining us today.